So there might be a few loyal viewers out there that have wondered whether or not I have an opinion on this particular topic. There's a lot of videos available on the internet that are showing you how you can tune your toms to specific notes. And some of them are even trying to convince you that it's necessary to do, and it's a good idea to tune your toms this way. Now, you've seen my tuning tutorials, you've heard my drums plenty of times in my videos. So I don't know. I mean, a few of you might be curious about my particular take on this whole idea. Spoiler alert, I think it's pretty stupid, but I'm gonna be respectful about it. In this video, I'm gonna give you 10 logical reasons to back up what I'm saying. So just a quick disclaimer for all you sensitive cats out there. If you're easily triggered, you might wanna leave the room, man, because I ain't holding back, and some of y'all might be offended. Now let's have some fun. Reason number one, why I think tuning your toms to notes is a silly idea, and this is probably the one that's going to get me in the most trouble. But here's the thing, regardless of what you heard, drums are not a melodic instrument, all right? I don't care what your grandma told you, she was wrong. Ain't nothing melodic about these drums, all right? These things got one lane, and that's rhythm. Keep them in that lane. I mean, sure, it's entirely possible that if you spend enough time, you know, getting your pitches right and everything, you could probably bang out Mary Had a Little Lamb or something. It doesn't make it a melodic instrument, all right? I mean, you can effectively turn a screw with a butter knife. Doesn't make it a screwdriver. Reason number two, toms have a tuning range. And the tuning range is only relevant to whatever situation it's currently in. So sometimes you want to tune it way up, sometimes you want to drop it low, sometimes you want it anywhere in between. But according to whatever it is that you're playing at the time, whatever style of music that that particular tom is going to suit the situation best, that's where you want it to sit. If you're always going to tune your 12-inch to a B flat, you're missing out. Toms are super versatile, and you can get all kinds of different sounds out of these things depending on how you tune it, depending on the head that you put on it, and what sort of dampening method that you end up using. So trying to pick out a specific note and have it sit there, crazy idea. Reason number three that I think tuning your toms to specific notes is a silly idea is that a tom is not going to sustain any particular note long enough for it to make a lick of difference. And when it does actually sustain a note long enough, the goal is to shorten it. So whether you're in the studio, if you got a tom that's ringing out a lot, I guarantee you the engineer is going to ask you to muffle it somehow and shorten that sustain. Same thing with live performances. I've been in plenty of situations where my toms were singing out beautifully, but because of the situation, because of the room, because of whatever, they've asked me to use a little bit of muffling. But, you know, because of the makeup of what a tom is, there's two heads on it, one at the top, one on the bottom. When you hit it, there's a dynamic curve, all right? It's gonna drop off. So it's not gonna stay in one spot long enough to get in the way of anything. Reason number 4, it's indistinguishable in the context of a full band. There's no way that you can throw a song on, listen to a drum fill, and tell me what notes the toms were tuned at. Some of the greatest, most iconic drum fills ever recorded. In the Air Tonight, Jack and Diane, anything Neil Peart played. There's no way that you're going to be able to listen to those fills, isolate the toms, and point out specifically what notes they were tuned to. And even if you did have the ability to do that, I would question how often you actually get out. Reason number 5, detuning is often a necessary remedy in the studio. So, you spend all this time getting the 10-inch right where you want it. You might be experiencing some sympathetic snare buzz on your snare drum. A quick fix to get rid of that is to move your tom either up or down out of that range. Basically what's happening is there's the frequency that both of these drums are liking at the same time, and it's interfering, it's causing your snares to buzz. So a quick fix is to take your tom, either tune it up, tune it down. Your beloved note is now irrelevant because you had to move it out of the way. And incidentally, you should never fix it at the snare drum, all right? Never sacrifice the sound of your snare drum for your toms. Reason number 6, the drum head makes a difference, all right? So if you're used to getting into the habit of tuning your 12-inch to whatever note you like, putting it there, and you're in a situation where you need to put a thicker head on there, you can't put a hydraulic in the same spot as you would, say, a UV1. It's 1 ply versus 2 plies with some, drops of oil in the center. It's going to be much thicker. You're not going to be able to sit that head in the same spot as a single ply, thinner one. The drum head and the sound that you get out of that tom is a lot more important than, whatever preconceived note you'd like to sit it at. And I only say this because, there's a certain company out there that will remain nameless, but I'm sure a lot of y'all know who it is. But they like to stamp the inside of the shell with a specific note. I don't know why they do that. I don't know if they're trying to tell you that that's where it's supposed to be all the time, or if maybe that's, just the optimum note that the shell is sitting at. But, unless they explain that to you, people are going to believe that this is where you need to sit that tom, and it's just not true. It depends on the head that you have on there, and it depends on the situation that it's in. Reason number 7, and this is more so for the studio, dampening makes it irrelevant. So, whatever note you got that thing tuned at, once you start slapping a bunch of tape, bunch of gels, whatever, on it, like I was saying before, shortens the sustain anyway. So whatever note it's at, it's going to get out of the way super quick. I mean, think about it. It would only be an issue if that tom was ringing out long enough for it to interfere with something else that was going on in the track, which is the main concern with people that are concerned with that. As soon as you shorten that sustain, it hits and it dips and it's out. Reason number 8 is that it doesn't affect the sound of the tom itself at all. So, if you're under the impression that, because your 10 inches is stamped at a specific note, that you have to sit it there and that's it, not true. Your tom has a tuning range. It's not going to sound any better at that specific stamp note than it would anywhere else in that tuning range. This thing is made for versatility, and you can sit it in several different areas in that range. And as long as it's tuned right, it's gonna sound great. You should only tune your drums with your ears, all right? So when we're talking about the rest of the toms and the set, you know, if you set your first one where you want it to sit, then the rest of them, as long as you got a nice, pleasant range between the rest of them, that's all you really need to be concerned with. And it doesn't have to be, you know, a perfect minor third or a perfect fifth or whatever from this one. As long as you set this one where you want, you can put the rest of these to get whatever range you want to get out of them. If it sounds good to you, your drums are tuned. Reason number 9. The 9th reason that I think tuning your toms to specific notes is silly is that it's needlessly painstaking in a pinch. So let's say you're at a show, maybe you're at a festival or something, you put a stick through a 12-inch tom, you need a retune real quick. You don't want to have to sit there for the next 20 minutes with a tune bot and a protractor and a scientific calculator just to get the thing retuned. You got things to do, man. You got money to make. Get that friggin' head on there, tune it up, throw it back on the kit, and finish the show. As long as that tom sounds good in context with the rest of your toms, kit's gonna sound great. And finally, number 10, and I saved the harshest one for last, nobody cares. Nobody cares. The only thing that they're going to care about is that your kit sounds good, right? It's not like a guitar player. If one of the guitar player's strings is out of tune, you're going to hear it right away. Toms, doesn't make any difference. As long as they sound good when you play a fill, that's all that matters. That is precisely why I don't waste time trying to get my drums to sound like a piano. As long as your drum kit is tuned within itself, that's the only thing that matters. As long as you got a nice, pleasant range between these toms, wherever you want them to sit, that's the only thing that's gonna matter. Tune with your ears, man. Start at one end and then set your next one according to where the last one you tuned is, and you'll get that nice, cool range that'll sound good, whatever fill you end up wanting to play. So that's it, man. That's my 10 cents on the whole topic. Hopefully you stuck it out through the whole video without getting too upset. I have a feeling that this conversation is already on fire in the comment section. So if you have a comment, drop it below. Just keep it civil, man. Nobody has to get upset about this. It's all in good fun. At the end of the day, drums are still the coolest instrument on the planet, regardless of what side of the fence you're on. So let's all just be cool, have a little bit of fun, and let's be friends. Thanks for watching this video. New viewers, new subscribers, welcome to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when the next video is coming out. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, hopefully you hadn't hit unsubscribe by this time. But if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit that before you bounce. Make sure you stop by the merch shop. You still got some time left to grab yourself a t-shirt. Sale is still on until May 31st. 15% off all orders. Go ahead and do some shopping after you watch this. Share this video if you dig it. Like, subscribe. See you next video.